It's confirmed, and it's emotional. Behind the glittering facade of royal life and ceremonial smiles, a storm has been quietly brewing within the walls of the Danish royal palace. Queen Mary, always poised and graceful in the public eye, has recently shown signs of something deeper, a rare moment of vulnerability that has sparked waves of speculation throughout the royal world. In a stunning revelation that insiders are only now beginning to understand, Queen Mary reportedly called in her most trusted bodyguard, not for protection from a physical threat, but to confide in him emotionally, to express her growing fears, not for herself, but for her son. Yes, Prince Christian, the young and rising star of the Danish monarchy, is at the center of this private and heartfelt confession. What could cause a queen, known for her composure, to seek such discreet counsel? Sources close to the palace describe the moment as profoundly moving. Mary, dressed simply and away from the eyes of the public, requested privacy. Not with courtiers, not with advisors, but with the very man who has stood silently by her side for years, her personal bodyguard, someone who, over time, had earned her utmost trust through quiet loyalty. To him, Queen Mary reportedly unburdened her heart, speaking not as a monarch, but as a mother. A mother wrestling with deepening anxiety about the pressures her eldest son now faces. Prince Christian, the heir to the throne, has been under an extraordinary spotlight. Turning 18 and stepping formally into the public eye as future king has not only elevated his responsibilities but also exposed him to relentless scrutiny. From gala dinners and state visits to political briefings and international appearances, the young royal has barely had time to breathe, let alone process what his future truly demands of him. And while to the outside world he may seem calm, confident, and composed, Queen Mary sees more. She sees what only a mother can. The small signs, the fatigue hidden behind smiles, the silent pauses during conversations, the weight pressing on her son's shoulders even when no crown is worn. Sources who witnessed the conversation between Queen Mary and her bodyguard said it was not just emotional, it was desperate. This was a mother reaching out, searching for answers in a world where she is expected to have all of them. The Queen reportedly voiced her fears that Christian was struggling with the burden of royal expectations and that the carefully curated royal world may be swallowing his youth. She feared he was losing his spark, his joy, his sense of self. And even worse, he was doing it all quietly, determined not to disappoint the family or the nation. It's important to understand the backdrop here. Queen Mary and King Frederick have long been regarded as modern monarchs who wanted their children to grow up grounded. They've fought to give Christian and his siblings as normal a life as possible, often shunning traditional royal protocol in favor of experiences that reflect the real world. But with Christian's ascension in royal duties, that vision has become harder to maintain. Behind every curtain call, there's a rehearsal. Behind every photograph, 1,000 unspoken expectations. And Queen Mary is no longer sure that Christian's smile reflects his truth. What's even more telling is that Mary chose her bodyguard to share these thoughts. Not her husband, not the royal press office, but a man outside the inner circle of royalty, someone she trusted not to leak, not to spin, not to judge, but simply to listen. A royal insider familiar with the Queen's schedule stated, Mary's decision to call her bodyguard into a private room and ask for time to talk was very unusual. It was clear she needed to get something off her chest, something that was weighing heavily on her. And what she shared was a raw account of watching her son retreat into himself, of witnessing moments of sadness he tried to conceal. It's been said that Prince Christian has been struggling particularly with the comparison to other heirs across Europe. Crown Princess Amalia of the Netherlands, Princess Elizabeth of Belgium, and even the British royal children, all of whom are navigating their roles in vastly different ways, have often been the subjects of tabloid comparison, placing intense psychological pressure on Christian to be perfect. The Queen allegedly told her bodyguard that Christian had begun to resent how his every move was dissected and judged, even when he tried to do the right thing. She also expressed concern over the kinds of friends Christian had begun to associate with. Not in the sense of danger, but of influence. Was he surrounding himself with people who supported him, or those who saw his title as an opportunity? This was not a conversation about protocol. This was about heartbreak, about a mother scared that her son might be smiling in public while silently crumbling in private. And while King Frederick has been present, sources suggest that Mary has taken a more emotionally intense role in her children's upbringing, especially since Frederick's growing commitments as monarch have limited his availability. The Queen reportedly told her bodyguard that while she trusted Christian with responsibilities, she worried the pressure was growing too fast, too soon. She recalled moments where he came home late, sat in silence at the dinner table, or brushed off attempts at deep conversation. Those were the signs, she believed, of a young man trapped between personal identity and national expectation. What makes this situation so dramatic is not just the content of the confession, but the Queen's decision to confess it at all. Royals are trained, almost from birth, to keep their emotions behind closed doors. Vulnerability is seen as weakness. But Mary's moment with her bodyguard defied this tradition. It was an act of desperation, of emotional urgency. One palace staffer said, "This wasn't Queen Mary speaking. This was just Mary, a mother terrified for her child's well-being." In the days following the conversation, there were subtle but notable shifts in the Queen's schedule. Appearances were scaled back, meetings were postponed, the royal household remained tight-lipped, but whispers of the conversation began circulating behind the scenes. Even Christian's appearances took on a different tone, more subdued, more controlled. At one public event, he appeared withdrawn, offering only short, polite answers to reporters. It was a stark contrast to the energetic presence he once carried. What's clear is that Queen Mary is not willing to let her son walk this road alone. There are rumors now that she's begun pushing for more private time with Christian, even asking for a temporary reduction in his public duties to allow him space to regain confidence. Others close to the family suggest Mary has also been quietly speaking with counselors and experts on royal child development, hoping to find ways to protect her son without undermining his role. For Queen Mary, this is more than a royal dilemma. It's a mother's crisis, a battle between tradition and emotion, between duty and love, and the conversation with her bodyguard may have been the first step in what could become a broader reassessment of how royal heirs are raised in the modern world. Denmark may be a constitutional monarchy, but at its heart is a family, and this family, like any other, is not immune to the growing pains of parenting. And while the palace may never officially confirm the full depth of this emotional moment, what has been witnessed is enough to stir real concern and compassion. Queen Mary has shown the world that beneath the tiara and the titles lies a heart that beats for her children above all else. She may be queen to a nation, but to Prince Christian, she is first and forever his mother. And in her quiet moment of confession, she has revealed a truth that so many parents can relate to. No matter how high the throne, no one is immune to worry when it comes to their children's happiness. As the Danish royal family navigates this tender and challenging chapter, one can only hope that space will be made for Prince Christian to grow into his role at his own pace, with support that honors not just his title, but his humanity. Queen Mary's confession, raw and real, may well be the spark that redefines how royalty cares for its own in an ever-watching world. Don't forget to like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional and exclusive royal stories from behind palace walls. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Queen Mary's emotional response could lead to real change in how royal heirs are raised today?